Okay. Hello. Hola, and ¿cómo estás? And any other language you can speak in. I don't know them all, and I apologize, but that's my failing. Anyway, so I want to go ahead and get started. I am doing a video on the newest kelp generator that has come out in the event of the 1.21.30 update. The original kelp generator, the beauty, the love, the wonderful thing that was, is no longer. Yes, as it so happens, if anybody doesn't yet know, Minecraft has... They have just nerfed the kelp generator. They've gotten rid of the old one and made way for a new one. Now, if you do any intensive research, you will find that there are a number of different kelp generator videos that have been published since the 1.21.30 plus update. And yes, all of those kelp generators are very valid. I believe mine is valid also. I would like to express my whole reason for doing this video is exclusively due to the fact that I just frankly don't like the other versions of the kelp generator that are available on the internet. I think they're extraneous and they have a lot of features to them that are absolutely pointless and don't actually take care of anything that would be of value. So I am going to try and build the kelp generator in its most simple version, and I think that that is going to just be useful if you want to do your research. If you want to add any of the extraneous things you see in any of the other videos, be my guest. I mean, this is Minecraft. It's all about player creativity and a unique perspective. I am just trying to offer a additional unique perspective. That's why I make all my videos. That's why, well, frankly, Minecraft. What else do I need to say? Alright, so let's get started. We are doing a kelp generator, and I have 3 boxes. All of those chests contain required items for the build, optional items for general convenience, because I have seen some very important things that I think were left out from the other videos that are worth including, and of course a garbage dump, because we are going to have a few leftovers, but mostly because there is going to be some digging involved. Okay, now the required items for the build are as such: at least 25 blocks of dirt, a big tree. Now I need to clarify, I'm sorry, I'm moving ahead of myself. The dirt, yes, 25 does not have to be dirt. By all means, you can use anything you want. Any solid block. You can use stone, you can use black stone, you can use obsidian, whatever makes you happy, your fancy, or fits your style of your build. That's all that's necessary. So, I am taking account that I'm going to be using some of the stuff from the you'll see. So, there's going to be a big drip leaf. You can get these from a lush cave, which is usually pretty easy to find. However, in my personal opinion, use creative mode to find it before going searching for it in survival mode, because it can be so darn hard. Also, 2 blocks of sand, because sand is actually super easy to get, and it has a gravity affliction to it that will make it fall. You need at least 1 lever. We're going to need at least 3 oak buttons or stone buttons or any other kinds of buttons that you like. Frankly, it's just preference, but you need at least 3 of them. Take your pick. Same thing kind of goes with the stairs. You can have any of the varieties of stairs. I use cobblestone because frankly it's just the easiest one you can get your hands on. Of course, you will need the famous kelp leaf, and it is only necessary really to have 1 kelp leaf for the project to function. However, the more the merrier, because that speeds things up. You will need at least 3 buckets of water, or if you are an intelligent person, you will have 2 buckets of water and use those to create an infinite source of water, blah, 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 blah. But just for simplicity, go ahead and just get 3 buckets for now, and use whatever method you like from there. Now, the build is actually going to need, about a 5 by 5 space. So let's go ahead and look a little bit away from here. I'm going to start digging right about here, and I'm going to dig down 4 blocks. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, and that's 4. Now, you can choose to dig from here in any direction that you want to. I'm going to go ahead and choose this direction. Now, if you have a specific design in mind that you want, the direction you build will be facing, of course, the hind end of the kelp generator. So once we go in this direction, we will be able to turn around, and this would be facing the backside of the kelp generator. Now, we actually just want to go 2 blocks from, let's say, ground 0 from the dig down point. So that's 1 block from there, and this would make a 2nd block space from said ground 0. And then we turn, as you can see, we don't go forward, we don't go right, we go to the left. Now I'm going to just dig 1 space to the left like this, and then I'm going to start climbing up, because we actually do want to get to the surface. Now we are going to dig, so that I have a jump ability, and that would be 1, and then we're going to dig, and that would be 2. Okay, now we're going to turn left 1 more time. As you can see, we're building a tunnel outwards. We're going to dig and dig to make a space, and then dig up. Now, all of this digging is actually built as a very specific way, because honestly, I'm going to be showing you the optional stuff, and by all technicality, you could dig out however you like, but if you're going to follow any of the optional items, this will be worth digging as I have accorded. So we have everything built right there. Let's grab everything from the required build. Yes, I have everything, which means let's use some of the dirt blocks, and that will be necessary for blocking this area, because we are going to have the drips, big drips lift on top of this. We are going to need to put a lever right here and activate it, so that you will see it somehow keeps the big drip leaf from dripping quite completely. And it makes a bit of a funny effect when we put the sand on top of it, as you will see. I'm going to put the drip leaf in there, but before I start dropping any sand, I'm going to put up 1, 2, 3, and 4 blocks of whatever solid block you want to use. I'm using dirt once again, as I expressed previously. Now, our 2 blocks of sand. This is going to be fun. You put down 1 and 2, and look at it shimmer and bounce and get all crazy, as if the drip leaf is just resisting it, but it can't drop completely. And that is what we use to help us develop a kelp generator. It actually is amazing, but that's the system necessary for helping the kelp to grow and self-replicate. But don't let me get too far ahead of myself. We'll get to that point later on. From this point, we actually want to build up the machine several layers. We are going to need to put 1 stair facing, my preference is to face it that direction. You could face it this direction if you prefer, whatever your preference is, but this hole has to be on either this side or this side, because you're going to have to be able to see through into the chamber. And I'll show you, once again, I will show you how that is going to be necessary. So let's also build these up. Okay, and that's going to create a water chamber where we are going to place the kelp. However, as it is, we are not yet ready to place the kelp. I am going to jump up and place it a little bit higher. And boom. See that? I put it on top of the stairs. And boom. Now I am going to go ahead and place 1 of the water buckets right here, and we will get moving along. We're going to be placing all 3 water buckets, of course, So let's continue on building up. Now I'm going to build one more layer, but this time I'm going to leave this one blank. I'm not going to add anything to it right now. However, now that we've got this layer built, I am going to carefully place a layer on top of it like so, and run back down to add some layers on the bottom. And these layers are going to be very important, specifically the oak button layer. Now this one is going to be keeping control over where the water flows once we fill the chamber with water. So let's go ahead and continue on. The oak buttons are going to control the water from coming out just as much as it's going to control keeping the water inside. Now it looks pretty funny, but this is where the kelp is actually going to flow out, and you're going to be able to catch the kelp as it grows and flows through the water system. Okay? Now that we have this done, we can go ahead and place water. Well, let me get up there first before I go placing the water too much so I get confusion. Look at this. Let me show you something. We don't actually want to place the water right here. We want to place the water right here, but not here. Now, why is this? This is because the way that the water flows, we want the water to forcibly flow in the direction that we want the kelp to flow. Okay? Now we are going to place water here, and then instead of placing one here, this sounds crazy, but it's very important. We are actually going to build up one more level. 1, 2, 3, and place one above it. Look, let me explain. The water right here that I'm going to place is actually going to act like a piston in a sense. It's going to flow downward. Now this is going to be where the water flow keeps pushing the kelp down and into this block of water so that it will flow out instead of flowing up into said water up here. And that's how we keep control of where the kelp goes. Now I'm going to go ahead and cover that. May or may not be necessary, but it's personal preference. And let's try not to hurt ourselves on the way down. And almost got it. Close enough. So, now that we have that built, everything should flow quite precisely out that when we put the kelp inside that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put some of this garbage where we set predetermined, because we don't need these anymore. You don't have to destroy it as a garbage, just where I'm putting it, because I don't need it for the build any longer. But watch this as I put the kelp inside this chamber. I don't want to go outside the chamber by accident. You could technically go this way if you prefer, but you want to keep it down at this layer. If you try and build the kelp at a higher level, then it won't work. So put it in here, and I'm going to activate my use button, and it will grow the kelp, and it will come back here. Now, it did not grow more than one. However, once you start doing it repeatedly, it has a chance of creating more than one kelp. And you will see that all of a sudden, I've got more than one kelp. See, I've got 5 kelp. And if I keep putting those 5 kelp in, it will keep generating more kelp as the kelp naturally grows due to the fluctuations of the sand on top of the drip leaf. And you can see I'm starting to build up quite a bit of kelp. Okay, so let me do a little bit of detailing on why I choose to make it like this. Now, a lot of the other builds, they put glass around the sandstone or the sand that's inside. That I found is completely pointless. It does not increase the build. Some other people put other redstone contraptions on the back. Completely pointless. Doesn't. In fact, in my experience, if you put the glass panes on the sand as they depict in their videos, then a lot of your kelp is actually being lost because it flows down below where you can pick it up. And that's just crazy. I don't think that that's what anybody wants. Everybody wants to get as much of their kelp as they can get. And in my opinion, this is the most efficient design because it gives you all of the kelp that is being generated. Nothing is actually being lost. It's all coming directly to you. That's what we want. That's what we're going for. That's what I love. Anyways, so there is one thing that I forgot, unfortunately, and that would be I actually need to put some dirt down here to help control the direction that the kelp flows. So, I need this, and we'll put it right there. There, that's good enough. If you are quite obsessive compulsive, we can go ahead and take it to all the way to the ground. But yeah, once again, this is all about how you want to build your kelp generator or anything else in your world for that matter, of course. Now that we know how to make a simple kelp generator that does function, that does put out kelp, I want to put something out there. What good is a kelp generator if you can't do anything with the kelp? I mean, you can have some external things. You can have yourself a smoker. You can have yourself a composter, but that's just silly. Why not just build it into the machine? And I have done just that for anybody who is interested. Now, I have established that these are optional ideas and you do not have any requirement for doing them my way, but pick it up and do it how you like. This is fun. This is what it's about. It's about creativity. So, I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to build down. See, this is where you normally stand because you want to put that in there. You want to do one right next to it. Okay. And then two right next to it. And as you can see, we are almost there. And we want to go three right next to it. And then we want to build over one. I don't know why I said build, but cut over one so that we can place a chest. And then we're going to cut over left one to place another chest. If we can. Okay. So now we have a double chest system right there. And if I cut up, you'll see that it is basically right where we normally would be standing. I'm going to take one of the hoppers that I have predetermined, and I'm going to try and make it face directly into that box by doing a little hop and crouch. And well, because I was crouching and I activated my use command directly facing that, that means that this will put, well, watch. There we go. See, it went directly into the large chest, which means I did it right. And it's very good to go ahead and test what you're doing just in case it accidentally gets put in a different direction or does not work, function, or activate in the way you anticipate. Now, I'm going to go ahead and crouch again. I'm going to select my composter and jump and place the composter just above that hopper. And once again, my last hopper, I'm going to crouch and I'm going to jump and I'm going to place the hopper so that it is in fact facing down into the composter. Now, in case you are not quite clear on what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to make it so that as I collect the kelp, my inventory will fill up with kelp. Once my inventory is full, it will have a lot of overflow. Now, I could cheat. Let's say I want to get a bunch of dirt. And fill up all of my slots with dirt. Like this. You will see that basically it means I will be able to capture the kelp and have it overflow into the composter once the kelp is full. It can take a little bit if you start with very little kelp, but it is definitely generating kelp, and it will generate, in this case, because I put a composter down, it will generate bone meal. Now, if you want to, you can swap the bone meal for, or the smoker for the composter. Forgive me, I'm just so tongue-tied. You can swap the composter for a smoker, and then it will generate dried kelp, of course, which you can use to turn into blocks or whatever you like. Personally, I find the bone meal to be more useful, but I like options, and these are the best options I have, and I am happy to share them with you. Now, if we're lucky, yep, there we go. We've already got some bone meal because it is flowing directly into the hopper and down into the chests. Now, I'm going to go ahead and place this trap door so that I can walk over it without accidentally falling down. However, let's go ahead and explore the idea of using the smoker. That's a fun idea. And I'm going to need one more dirt as I place the smoker, because I've already placed the trap door, which I was using temporarily at the time. Let's go ahead and break the composter, which is partially full. Too bad. But it's okay. It will flow through the hopper into the chest. And there you go. You can see that the composter is safe and there's no harm. And we are going to go ahead and place the smoker. And I'm going to close that up. And let's try this again. Now, see, now that is where I should have placed my dirt. But I can't now because I forgot to fill up that hole. So let's go ahead and drop the excess kelp, and I'm going to fill up that hole with a piece of dirt. There we go. And continue where I left off. This time it will not mess up, and I will be able to have the overflow go directly into the smoker. And that should be enough to get a good observation. And there we go. The smoker has 20 kelp in it. All I need to do now is add something to actually start it. Maybe some coal, maybe some extra wood if you have extra wood. But there we go. That's how that works. Now, how do we want to deal with the other items? Okay, let me explain. Now, in my experience, and I know I say that a lot, but in my experience, I have found that the design that has been postulated by the internet geniuses who built it in the first place — I'm no genius, I can never come up with something this good or anything better on my own, but with the help of the internet geniuses, they have designed something that is inherently flawed. Because they have to use the drip leaf? yeah, not dripstone, but drip leaf, it tends to break whenever you exit your world, at least in my experience. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they've done an update. I know that they're at 1.21.31 plus, so whatever they're at now. Hopefully they've updated it, but during the making of this video, this thing will break whenever you exit your world. This thing will break whenever you leave the chunk or go too far away from it. Active or inactive, it doesn't care, because of the fact that the drip leaf will not hold the sand indefinitely. In fact, if you accidentally toggle the lever, then all of a sudden everything goes kerplooey. Now I can pick up the sand, as you see. It just went into my inventory. Awesome. But the problem is now our build no longer works. See? So we need to place the sand again, and because I have the toggle switched properly, there is no problems. It goes back to working just fine. However, let's say you don't actually want to have to run down there and manually pick it up, or you don't want to go down there and risk that it's going to be destroyed, or what would be the right word? Despawned is what I'm looking for. So if the sand falls and it sits there for more than 5 minutes, it will despawn, and yeah, you can probably go get more sand pretty easily, but sand is a bit of a limited resource in this game, and nobody wants to mess around with their limited resources and lose out. So that's why I have added these optional items. First of all, we have a minecart with hopper. I'm going to use that for picking up any of the extraneous sand when it falls. We're going to have some powered rails, because obviously powered rails are going to help get the copper there. Some levers for giving rails the power they need, and buttons and everything else. Let's put this together. You'll see it, and I hope you're going to love it. I think it's worth it. Okay, so I need to start out by putting a powered rail right here. Now, because that's already underneath a lever, we're getting power to it, and I'm going to add 2 more rails. Then I'm going to turn and add a rail to, in fact, let's call it the left. And I'm going to break a spot right here in order to place a lever to power that one. So now that also has power. We're going to go ahead and place a regular rail next to that to bring it up, and another regular rail to bring it up again. However, we're at another point where we need to place a powered rail right here. Break this, put another lever in, and continue on. Ooh. Activate the lever. Activate it. Don't forget, we need power here. Now we're going to place 1 and 2 more rails, and then a final powered rail right here. We do not have to use any of the levers for powering this one. Actually, we're going to go ahead and put down a block of dirt and or any solid block that you prefer, whatever your preference. As per the nature of my videos, I'm going to put the button on top of there, because the button will power the rail. Which means if you have a minecart with hopper on top, it will work just like that every time you press the button. Now that is beautiful. Okay, so let's say this thing is broken. For whatever reason, the sand has fallen and you need to pick up the sand, but you're just not really a fan of having to walk down there. Roll your eyes, but alright, press the button and clearly you've got your sand back. And that makes it easy when farming to just start right again and go back to doing what you were doing. And the kelp will keep coming to you, and you can watch it go into your smoker. There you go. Okay, so why do I have this last lever? Well, you want to know the truth is, if you're starting out with just 1 kelp, you don't necessarily want to risk that kelp getting sucked in by the hopper and then destroyed by a composter or smokers. So I add the lever right here. When I activate it, there's no risk that the hopper will ever suck up any of your kelp by accident until you have a ample supply to make sure that you will not lose any of your precious kelp, which can be a major issue. As you can see, by putting a bunch of kelp on here, we have no suction, but boom. So just be aware that this is designed to secure you from losing all of your resources and having to go find some more kelp if you're going to use this method. Well, you know what? That actually is the extent of my design. If you like it, give it a good thumbs up. If you don't like it, good golly, give it a thumbs down. I'd like some feedback, anything. We want people to tell me what they like or what they don't like. I mean, what is the point in having options if you cannot express yourself about those options? So, do something on Facebook or do something on YouTube or do something anywhere else. Whatever you like, just be happy. Enjoy your lives, enjoy your nights, enjoy your days. And thank you for spending any amount of time that you spent wasting your life with me. Enjoy yourself and good night. Bye-bye, everybody.